Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre review series. I know I took a little bit of a hiatus. It was a very busy March for me, but we're back. Let's go ahead and discuss some movies. And we're back here with the 2013 Texas Chainsaw, a movie that is very controversial inside this huge timeline of Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. But what's the plot to Texas Chainsaw 2013? Well, it follows Heather, played by Rosia Dodaro, however you pronounce her name, the girl that had a bit of a popularity spike due to White Lotus recently. And it follows her and her group of friends who travel down to Texas to go and get the inheritance from a mansion that she's about to get from her dead grandmother. The only problem that inside the basement of the mansion holds Leatherface, a person that she should probably read the deed to the house and what, the steps from Berna, whatever her whole name is. But Heather and her friends decide to ignore that, and, hilarity ensues because so. Now, I watched the movie quite a few handful of times when I was a kid, when I was 12, 13, whenever it came out. I never really liked it, but I just watched it a lot. It was right after I'd already watched the remake and the prequel to the remake, 2003, 2006 movies. So I really just wanted to stay in that universe, and I was never really happy whenever I'd watch this movie and was following these new characters, especially because I never really liked them. We'll get into that later on. But this film, it has a very strange place in the timeline because it's the only movie that's kind of like just by itself, no real sequels. You do have like Leatherface stuff. I haven't seen it though, but it's this only one that it's the start of this modern Texas Chainsaw franchise, the type of route that it's going, where it literally just focuses on Leatherface. It decides that we're going to scrap the family, only focus on this mascot character, and it's something that you see this trend go on from this film to Leatherface, which I haven't seen, but I have seen the 2022 Netflix one. And it's a trend that you see keep going, and I think that this film, the vibe that it gets from that, it's completely different from the rest of the franchise, and that starting point, it's here. Going into what I like about this movie, not a lot, but I do think it's gory, especially when you get some of the lackluster stuff from, the ratings taken away inside Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 and, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4. Like, both those movies, they really reduced the amount of gore that we were able to see on screen, and it did affect the movie. I mean, I understand the first movie's not gory at all, but it's almost like after Halloween 2. Like, once you get off that standing point, once you get on that train of gore and blood, you kind of need to stay on it because people are going to be expecting it. You can go ahead and say it. Same thing like, oh, Mission Impossible 1. It's not as stunt heavy. It's not as much of a spectacle as Mission Impossible, 4, 5, 6. But yeah, after now, this is what we need. We need these spectacles. We need these big action scenes because that's what we're expecting now, and it's something that's how it evolved, and that's what we need. So I feel it's the same way when it comes to blood and gore. I understand that the story doesn't need it. At the same time, it's fun, and it's a great spectacle, and it's great to see on screen. So I have to praise the film, the fact that it decided that it was going to show some gore, some body parts, people getting cut up with the chainsaw. I'll enjoy it. I can agree with that. Another thing about the movie, though the direction isn't really, out there, it doesn't stand, it's not noteworthy, it doesn't look bad. The movie looks fine, like, it looks good. I think the house is a little too clean, but I kind of get the idea that it's this grandma who lived in the house, not how it was with, like, the Crazy Family in number 3, where the house is super clean for no reason. I can understand it a little bit more here. I don't really... Again, it's just, the house is a little too clean, but everything looks nice, everything seems fine, and I can understand... the cinematography, it's not anything noteworthy, but it's not too bland. Like, I'm really trying to dig to the bottom of the barrel to figure out some positives for this movie. I'm not a big fan of it at all.
Look like Granny like to play a little pool. Who wanna play?
I do. Got money, bitch?
Okay, I'm a bitch now.
Yeah, you're my bitch.
Okay, rack 'em up.
What'd you say about my rack?
Rack 'em up.
Let's just go right into the negatives, because even the mixed stuff, it's not really mixed. I just don't like a lot of stuff that goes on here, okay? And I think that one thing that's really noticeable in this movie is the plot. The plot makes no goddamn sense. The entire time, it sucks. It's not intriguing. It doesn't make sense narratively. This film takes place directly after the first movie in 1974. Sally Harson's escaped from Leatherface, from the family. She gets to the police station and, she's contacted them. So a sheriff and a deputy go down and they're asking for Leatherface. Tell the Sawyer family, give him up. Everything's going to be fine. They don't want to give him up. He's family, but they decide they're going to. Up until an angry mob comes up and they decide to go all night on Elm Street and Molotov cocktail the house, burn the whole place down with only 2 survivors, I suppose. We don't see how Leatherface survives. He was locked in the back room. He should have died in the back room, but I guess he just got out of there and nobody saw him escape from the house. Or there was this baby too, and this baby is the one who turns out to be the main character throughout the film. The only issue here is that how can this girl be this beautiful young, 20-something-year-old while also being in her 40s, because it's 1974, now this is 2013. So she's 39 right now, right? 38? So I'm not saying she can't be beautiful or anything like that. I'm just saying that this does not make sense immediately right there. And maybe it's just trying to be kind of timeless. Maybe it's in the 90s and we're not supposed to know it's in the 90s. But we see a officer go on FaceTime. So obviously, if he's using an iPhone and going on FaceTime, it's not the mid-90s. The film tries to cover this up by, when it comes to even the graveyard, when they're walking through the family graveyard, they are covering up every single date where the families have died, because they can't show that it's 1974 and also be 2013, because it doesn't make any sense from the character's context, because they shouldn't be that age. So right there is this huge continuity that somehow the entire filmmaking crew missed. That is baffling. That's actually insane that's something that happened right there. It's actually frustrating that an entire crew for a multi-million-dollar movie somehow missed this. It's crazy to see what Hollywood pumps out just to make a buck. The characters are unlikable. Not good for your horror movie. We should care a little bit about them. Just a little smidgen, a crumb. But you have Leatherface's cousin, Heather, the main character. It's cheesy. She's what? Just because she's from the Sawyer family, she likes, she's automatically, she works at a grocery store as a butcher. She comes home and collects, animal bones from the butcher shop and then makes them into art. That you're not fucking related to Ed Gein. Why is that just in your blood? That's weird. And I understand it's going to set up how at the end of the movie she's going to join Leatherface, but that's fucking stupid. It's dumb. That's like saying at the end of Freddy's Dead, Freddy's daughter teams up with him. Why? It's because it's her blood? No, you're supposed to show that, you go past that. That's a monster inside your family, and, you don't want to be a part of that. But no, not Heather. She loves it. Do your thing, cuz.
Do your thing, cuz.
Things where these characters are completely unlikable. Heather is not only bland, but by the end of the movie, she's a bad guy that you can't root for. And it's a decision that you would never make, so you can't support it. As a person, you can't support her as a character. You move on to her friends. You have her best friend, Nikki. Very good best friend. She has slept with her boyfriend before. So also, Trey Songz playing the boyfriend, which again, having these rappers play inside horror movies, I don't really understand the point of it. I understand I like LL Cool J inside H2O, and Busta Rhymes is really fun inside Resurrection, but Trey Songz in this movie, man, bland. Should have gotten the fuck out of there. Should have gotten just any other actor, someone with a little bit of charisma, and also a little bit of chemistry with the main character that's supposed to be his long-term girlfriend. But I guess it makes sense why there's no chemistry, because he's been cheating on her too. Every single character here, the only character that's likable is Kenny, and he's the one that just joins along for the ride near the it's like Trey Songz's high school or band friend or something like that. I don't fucking know, but he's joining along. He's the only good character, and he's the second one killed off. And again, even though he's likable, bland, yeah, barely know anything about him other than he likes to cook and kind of looks like a hipster. There's nothing with this cast that makes you care about them. And even the side characters are keeping the plot going. The mayor's son, who's like a deputy or a sheriff. You got the sheriff from the old time, who's now the head of the police department. all these characters, they also suck. They're boring, and they make the story go by slower, because instead of just watching a group of characters doing this whole like man versus man story of them having to survive and trying to get out one by one while being killed by these family, instead of that just being the main story, this cat and mouse chase and just trying to survive, you also have this whole thing where it's about redemption, and how there's corruption in the police force, how there's corruption in the town, and how they shouldn't have killed the Sawyer family, which, do what you will or whatever it is, but the Sawyer family was insane. And the fact that the police only wanted Leatherface in the beginning of the movie and they were going to let the rest of the Sawyers go, like, well, good thing the hitchhiker got hit by the car and died, but like, what about Drayton Sawyer? This guy's insane. Like, he's just as bad. The grandpa's still alive, and the grandpa apparently is one of the, like, he's killed so many people, it's like he's a legend. Maybe the police want to put him in custody too. It is baffling that, like, it's supposed to be like, oh, well, they did something wrong, they burned these people down, but they were part of these kidnapping and murders, and the police were only going to take Leatherface. Like, it's all baffling. I don't ever support any of the characters' decisions, and the screenwriters don't know how to write you to make you support it. Every single time I watch this movie, and I've seen it quite a bit, it is baffling with how frustrating it gets. You get the writing. Everybody talks about how stupid the lines are. You got the do your thing, cuz. And you got the welcome to Texas, motherfucker.
Welcome to Texas, motherfucker!
Leatherface is from Texas. Like, you're not. You traveled here. What does that mean? Like, that's his shotgun. It's in his barn. Like, welcome to Texas, motherfucker. You're not surprising anybody with anything. It is baffling. Even Trey Songz, he's like driving the car and they're like, wait for the gate to open. He doesn't wait for the gate to open. Not only does he cause the car to crash and like cause it like malfunction, but also he dies in the crash. He's such a loser. He doesn't even get to die to Leatherface. He dies by his head getting sliced open by the windshield. Like, it is. I feel my blood rising right now. I'm probably just ranting in this mic because there's so much stuff where, who wrote this? What was the point? Like, you wrote a story that had no continuity to itself, completely, like, it makes no sense within its own context. You wrote characters that nobody liked, a main character who makes the worst decision I've seen almost any of these final girls do in any horror movie, just deciding to join the bad guy. That's not how it works. You don't join the monster, you defeat it. It's very basic movie making, like, story rules here. It's insane. Like, oh my god. It's like I just said with the Freddy's Dead thing. The daughter does not join Freddy. It would be baffling. This movie is baffling. And I think that if we're just going into conclusion right now, it's a bad movie. I don't think this is a movie that people really need to see. Even if you want to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, you can go ahead. But just like Leatherface, just like the 2022 movies, these movies not only are isolated in the fact that there is no family. You don't get to have this whole ensemble of a crazy cast who are threatening the main characters. It is just Leatherface. But with not only just being isolating with Leatherface, it's also isolating the fact that all these movies, the 2013, the 2017, and the 2022, all these Leatherface movies, they all just feel isolated and not connected to each other or the rest of the franchise. And it really puts them on these islands that you might not need to watch them. Like, you just don't, I guess. Like, you could watch the first 4 just to get done that original timeline. You can watch the remake and the prequel, and then after that, these movies are all really optional. I know how I feel about 2022, and we'll get to that review, and maybe I'll feel different about Leatherface, and I highly doubt it. But this is a movie that you can honestly skip. If you haven't seen it, you don't need to watch it. If you're a horror movie fan, it's bland, it's boring, it's not going to get you anything that you haven't seen or can't get more from a different horror film. It's something that I have no respect for this movie, and I think that I'm glad that it might be the last time that I ever watch it. So, as you guys can tell, I'm pretty glad to be back here and reviewing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. They're a lot of fun for me. I can't wait to review Leatherface and actually just get done this with the 2022 review. And then we can start a new franchise. About to have that American Beauty video published, and we're going to start another long-form thing too. Let's keep some short videos going with some long ones pumped out. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everybody watching. Sorry for the hiatus, if any of you guys even cared anyways. So let's just go ahead, keep reviewing movies, and I'll see you guys in the next one.